What's up? Marriage Monday live. We are your hosts on the West Coast, Daniel and Kendra Tillman, and we got our partners out there on the East Coast. Y'all go ahead.
Dennis and
Angela Bullock.
Whoop, whoop. They are better than all the rest. And hey, we're here for another week of our series. It takes a village to raise a marriage.
Well, actually, we're on a different series.
We are?
Yes.
Okay.
Marriage mindset.
No. I understand. Okay. So let me explain what I mean. Our overarching theme is community, and it takes a village to raise a marriage. Okay. Our particular topic tonight.
Or that's for the whole month of September.
Yes. Oh, you mean the subtopic for the whole month of September?
Yes.
Yes. Right. I messed that up, I guess. For the whole month of September is about mindset or marriage mindset. And tonight we are talking to some very special people, right? We're talking to doctors Latron and Amanda Alexander, and they have been a part of our community for a very long time. They have been in the trenches with us. And we are so honored that they would come on tonight and just give us some insight where this is concerned. They have been married about 10 years or so. We'll let them tell us exactly how long they've been married and give us all the details. But with that, no further delay, let's go ahead and bring them to the stage. Doctors Amanda and Latron Alexander. How y'all doing?
take yourself off a mic. Mute.
All right, is that better?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Thank you for the welcome. We're excited to be here.
Happy to have you guys.
Yeah, we're extremely blessed to be here.
Yeah.
Y'all look good. That Florida weather looks good.
All right, are y'all?
You know, hey, we're in the Jack, so
Yeah, Duval. Okay.
Only a few people understand what that was. Yeah. Only Jacksonville folks know about that. But
yeah, because y'all just lost me. You know what they're talking about?
No. I'm actually trying
We're just talking about culture.
Right.
Mindset.
No, I was just trying to see why I don't see this on Facebook. I don't see but I know, I guess we are live because there's people watching.
Yeah.
So don't worry about
it. If you are watching, drop a comment, let us know where you're coming from. And if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. If you have any comments, drop them in the chat. And give this live some likes so that your friends and neighbors will know that we are live. All right.
All the way live.
Okay. So you see it now? I see
Nope.
it. There it is.
Nope, that's
I
from
see it.
last time.
Okay.
I see
Okay.
it.
I usually reshare it in our
There we go.
Living Will Facebook group and on my wall, but for some reason it's not showing up in my news feed. I don't know why, but
All right. Okay, like I said, we're talking to the Alexanders tonight, and why don't you guys give us the real on how long you've been married, kind of what the dynamics of your situation is.
We've been married for 9. My wife will give you the real. I'm just gonna give you the real.
All right.
Because she'll tell you the month, the hour, the half second type of thing. I'm old. I can't think like that. We've been married for about 9.5 years, a little bit more than 9.5. So we'll be 10 years in May.
May what?
May 7th.
May 7th.
Okay, it's 10 days before us.
May is a good one for marriage, y'all.
So we do a thing, and we haven't been doing it lately, so we got to get back on task, or we can't talk about it. I can't talk about it no more. But we do a thing on the 7th of every month called Love4Real, where we celebrate our union, and we just celebrate.
Y'all fancy. I like it.
Oh yeah, we do some. Are we fancy? We're just fun. So we just try to keep it alive. You know what I'm saying? Because keep it fresh. So, but it's also reflective. So we do like we sandwich. Give me one thing that we've done well, type of a thing. What are we doing well? What's working? Where can we improve? We always got to find areas of improvement, right? What didn't go so well, and then we do another. What do we hope to achieve, or another what's going well type of a thing. So we sandwich, bad, good, you know.
I love it.
Good, bad, good type of a thing, and then we're supposed to dance and all of that stuff, and
You
do
owe me
some
like
romantic
100
stuff.
What kind of dancing? We want to see it. What kind of
Y'all
dancing?
want to see, because we be like, oh, we get the Luther Campbell. No, not so we don't
Slow
do the
dances.
Luther Campbell.
Slow dance.
But yeah, we just try to make it nice and romantic. So it'll probably be some Keith Sweat.
Okay.
Oh,
Shucks,
look
now,
at
you know,
that.
look
Come on, man.
Some Keith Sweat.
Make it last forever.
Make it last forever.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I think the two of you are like very creative people, which is interesting to me because both of you are doctors.
Doctors ain't creative.
No, it's just I don't know. It's like something you don't always think about, right? Like it seems more technical. Like your background field seems more technical. So, tell us the love story of how the two of you got together. Give us the Cliff Note version. Dr. Amanda, we done heard from your husband. What tell us the Cliff Note version of how y'all met.
Well, since we both attended Faith
Definitely.
Christian Center, the Cliff Note version is I was serving in the children's department, as all of you all know, because you all had children to pick up. And I was back there serving.
God bless you. God bless you.
Yes,
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you. Many years serving with the children. So he was coming around the corner.
Picking up my baby.
To pick up his
I
daughter.
had children too.
And we were introduced by a mutual friend at that time. And you always say something about.
She was scoping me, y'all, and she was just trying to prove a point. Like, if I do this, dude gonna do that. And so she did this, and dude did that.
It worked. So we're here. It worked. That's the short version.
and how long? What year did I miss that part? I know you said the day y'all got married, but what's the year that you guys got married?
2016.
Okay, so 2016. So it's been 9 years. Okay, so
He said 9.5 years.
Okay.
I said 10. We was all in the ballpark.
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I was trying to share this out to everybody, so I missed that part when y'all said that. So we want to shout out to Tawana and Marcus and Vernon. So Vernon says you had a plan, Dr. Amanda. He trying to pin it all on you right now. So he trying to say it was all you.
The plan was to follow Jesus and trust him. He had someone for me. It worked.
Y'all are hilarious. Love it.
All right, so you follow Jesus right on into marriage, huh?
Oh man, that's it. Got to do what God says.
So tell us about a little bit about your family dynamics. So first of all, how old were you when you got married? Dr. Amanda, how old were you? And Dr. Latron, how old were you when you got married?
So I was 37 when we got married, and
so I think I'm 7
he was 43.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. That's what we thought. We knew you were older. And one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to the two of you is because I was a little tenderoni when I got married. Angie was a tenderoni when she got married. And not saying you're not a tenderoni, Dr. Amanda, but y'all had you had actually lived life, right? You didn't have no Similac behind your ears when you got married like we did. So that was one of the reasons why we wanted to talk to you, because we know that a lot of the couples, especially now, we were actually looking up statistics yesterday, and it's more and more people are getting married as they're older. And so that creates a whole different dynamic when you have, when you've lived some life already and then you decide to get married.
And okay, so and was that the plan to get married as you in your older years, or did life just happen to bring you to that point?
I think maybe for Amanda, she wanted to finish her school, so she was focused on her education and her career early on. So I think she prioritized that, and she can add more onto that if she wished. But for me, I had already been married, so I was coming out of a previous marriage that even though the marriage didn't work out, we are a loving family, and we maintain our connectivity for our kids, and it wasn't a bad marriage. It just didn't work, right? So I just happened to be in a space. God kept telling me to do stuff about relationships, and I didn't want to do stuff. And finally, He was like, "Look, if you don't switch up, there's a blessing that I have stored up for you that's gonna pass you."
And her name is Dr. Amanda.
I don't know what her name was. But it turned out, it was good for me to listen.
Yeah, I would agree with that, because my on my end, when I decided that I was going to come out here to Arizona for school, it was just kind of like, that's it. Like, put your head down, stay in school, graduate, like focus. And I think I got hit on like twice while I was in medical school, which is unheard of, having come from Georgia, where people
the South.
Yeah, very common. So it was weird to go like 4 whole years and like 2 people talk to me. So I also felt like there was a desire in my heart to be married. And because that desire was there, I know that God, when we delight ourselves in God, He'll give us the desires of our heart. And I was also in this relationship with this man before I came out to medical school, and I was like, I don't think this is the one for me. God actually showed me in a dream that he was not the one for me, that if I connected with him and got married to him, that we wouldn't be together for long. And that, like, if I got in a marriage union with that man, it wouldn't have worked out. So I obeyed, I trusted God, broke that relationship off, started school. And I just trusted God that in due season, the time, the person who he had for me would come, and he would reveal who that person was. And I feel very confidently in my heart that it was LaTron, because I had another dream that showed me that it would last with him. So it's really cool.
Amen. Go ahead, girl.
You know, was me was trying to catch me way back in the day. Whoever went in that comment, I can't remember who that was in the comment. You was right. She was fishing.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Oh.
I'm a fisherman too. So we were both fishing.
I'm curious. So I'm curious about so the two of you are very, different to me. Like, your lives are coming from two very different places, right? Yeah. So, Dr. LaTron, you've been married, you had children. Dr. Amanda had her head down, going to school. What was it about the other person? So, Dr. Amanda, what was it for you about him? And then Dr. LaTron, what was it about her for you that you were willing, besides being good looking, right? We know you're physically attracted to each other, right?
Praise the Lord.
So besides that, what was it that drew you to each other?
I think the first thing you got to do is you got to be ready internally, right? So the person I was during and after my first marriage, I'm not that person anymore. So I'm spiritually grounded. I'm sold out for the Lord, and I'm just that type of person today. And what I look for in a woman is is a woman that's kind of, well, equally yoked. I'm looking for somebody who loves the Lord, just just as much as I love the Lord. And then so when I was a different person, when I was out there in the streets, I was shopping in the streets, right? And so when you shopping for things in certain places, the product looked like the environment that you shop.
Bars.
Right. So I was looking in different spaces for a different type of product. And God just prepared me first because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the space that I was going in, and I wasn't ready for the product that was in that space. Right. So God worked on me. God worked on me individually to prepare me, to prepare my heart, to give me a certain type of kingdom mindset that when I found her, I was ready.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The kingdom mindset. What does that mean? What does that mean? Like when you think back to the man that you were.
That's a good lead-in because that's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about mindsets.
Right.
Let's elaborate, brother. Let's elaborate.
Yeah. When you think back to the man you were when you met her, you have been through. How long had it been since you had been divorced? And then what do you think was different about your kingdom mindset versus the other mindset that you had?
Well, when I was there was a 7-year period essentially.
Okay.
Before I was after I was married to when I started feeling like I was ready. Right. That doesn't mean that that's when we met, because you have to figure some other stuff out.
Right. That's right.
Once you're ready. But for 7 years after my marriage, I was emotionally scarred and didn't know it, right? And then coming out of a marriage, the one thing that I was trying to figure out over that 7-year period was who am I? Respectfully, what my identity was, husband and father, while I was married. And when I was divorced, those two identities was gone. I was a soldier in the military. I was getting out of the military. So everything that I was, it was gone. I wasn't those things anymore. So I just kind of, at that point, I think I was kind of mad for a little while, and not like expressively mad, just, maybe upset with the failed marriage, or not sure about who I was. And so for those 7 years, I just started, I was learning myself. I was dating myself, getting myself involved in activities that I didn't know that I would like the symphony. I love the symphony. I love jazz music. And so I went from, Biggie Smalls to, to the symphony. So it's just learning those things about yourself got me in a space to where I would be able to entertain with her a certain type of way, because she likes those things. I don't think I could take her to a Biggie Smalls concert.
So she was refined. She's a refined woman.
She's from Georgia, so don't get it twisted.
So give me a staying on the mindset. So when you were married previously, what is a mindset that you think you had then that no longer serves you now?
Well, I think then I didn't put God first. So God, though he was active in my life, I didn't prioritize God. And so one of the things that I was learning over that period was how to exercise faith. So for me, it was about reducing pride, being more of a humble individual, because who I am today is a bit different from who I was back then. I was a bit prideful. And then just learning how to trust God. So when God told me that if I went back to school, for instance, he would take care of my needs. He said it wasn't going to be easy, and it wasn't, but he would take care of my needs. And during that season, I saw him being very active in my life, and I learned to love him more, and just exercise my faith. For me, it was about just learning how to be humble. There was a time when everybody would be like, "What would Jesus do?" And I wasn't that saved yet. So I turned the J into Job. So I said, what would Job do? Because I knew I had a pride problem, but I could learn to be humble. And I can't be what Jesus would, because I can't see. That's way too good. But I could try to be like Job. And then eventually I learned how to, after I felt like I was more like Job, I'm like, okay, well, maybe now I can try to be like David. Let me be like David first. And now I feel like I can say, what would Jesus do? You know what I'm saying? So that was kind of like my little situation.
Yeah. So Dr. Amanda, so you were in your mid to late 30s when the two of you met. And where would you say you were in terms of your life, your relationship with the Lord, and just like who you were as a woman in general when you think back to the 37-year-old version of yourself?
I would say that time was a very exciting season for me, because I remember, or maybe I was kind of like plateauing from the season of the residency. That's better. So the year before, it was 2012 when I graduated, 2013 when I finished the residency. And then I think that's when we started kind of like seeing each other. So the timing was like perfect for me, because as far as like my rigor and excessiveness, like that was coming to an end, although I was writing my first book, which he propped up behind us. Thank you. So as a plug, he did that. So
Donna put it up there.
Yeah, I can see it.
So
we like to promote our community stuff.
That's the first book. Dear God bless this mess.
The second one's coming out in November. Y'all pray. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
So basically that season was kind of like a time of transition for me. I had to trust God like a lot during that season, because it was a time of transition. So I had just come out of, being under the umbrella and covering of working at the university as a resident for a year. So getting paid, having, things like that already covered and taken care of, and being single, like just not knowing what the next step after that process was going to be like. It was just different. So I learned to lean into like my word, trusting God to take care of me, to meet all of my needs according to his riches and glory, and just knowing that it was going to be fine. Whatever it looked like, it was going to be fine. So for me, I think that was like my growing and pruning season of just learning to trust God to be my provider. And then also to be the lover of my soul. During that time and during medical school, I kind of trained myself to have like this might sound weird to some people, but I essentially dated Jesus. So I wasn't like lonely. Like I never felt lonely in being single. But I did know, again, that desire to be married was there. It was just something that I, said when it's time, it'll happen. And I know sometimes people can kind of get set in their ways, but I always made room for like, well, I know eventually somebody's going to come here, come find me, and I will be found and it's going to be fine. But I just want to make sure that, my heart is right and I'm in a good place and space for that. So I think I had to do a little bit of internal work. Well, I realized I needed to do a lot of internal work by the time we got married, but I started by learning that some of the things that I kind of like behaviors or things that I had when I was growing up and ways that I would interact with, the opposite sex or gender, like I would just be kind of like cold or mean or something like that. And I just learned to kind of like be nicer, smile, like do things that would be attractive to the other sex. And I feel like sometimes we forget to do those things. And sometimes those things can make a difference, just kind of like how the other person like sees you or how you register. So I had to work on that, just kind of like softening, my presence because I think like being a doctor, you're just kind of like in doctor mode all the time. And although he says he was impressed by how firmly I shook his hand, I still to this day am kind of like amazed by that because I would think that, I don't know, I just think that's interesting. So yeah. So I learned to soften and, you know, calm myself some. And I feel like that's what attracted me to him because he's always been like this like cool dude that's just kind of been like calm. And I'm over here just being all, you know, and everything's going crazy and frenzied and excited. And, you know, it's good times, you know, it can be frenzied, but it can be a lot. And he can probably attest to that. But from the first day that I think we kind of just like talked on the phone for hours, I knew there was something different and unique about him. And I feel like that became more apparent probably after our third or fourth conversation, because this is going to be funny, but I'll try to make it quick. He was having problems with his cell phone at the time when we first started talking, and he kept hanging up on me. And I was mad. I was like, why is this dude still hanging up on me? And he just keeps doing it. And I think we got to a point maybe about that third or fourth conversation. And he was like, Amanda, I'm not hanging up on you intentionally. Do you think that's what I want to do? I really like you. And he was like, it's just my phone that keeps hanging up on you. And I'm sorry that this is what's happening. But like, he just explained it. And whatever he said, it just calmed me down so much. I was like, this one. And it might have been because he had his degree in psychology. He had his master's in psychology. By the way. So maybe he was just psychological, analyzing or whatever.
Space age pimping.
Like
space age pimping. That's all.
I'm
hard to get for that one. I wasn't ready.
I wasn't either. So I basically got swooned into him by that moment. And I was just kind of like, okay, he's kind of like, he can calm me down. That's actually really good for me. So that kind of piqued my interest early on. And I felt like God gave me a green light with him because he honored and respected, like we waited. We did not, you know, have intimate relations before we got married. And he was like on board with all that. So we just, you know, I think we're aligned spiritually, which helped significantly. But I think we also had enough time on our own to know who we were. So that also made it a good time for us to come together. And I feel like God did do the whole like revealing sort of thing of me to him, because he said he saw me one day across the room. Like I literally was like, I know eventually God is going to send me whoever he wants me to be with. So I'm just going to go in after you, Jesus, and keep dating you. And I like one night I remember making a plate for Jesus, and it was, I don't know, it's funny, but yeah. I'll be ready.
I said, was any bread involved?
Bread and wine, the Eucharist.
Okay. No, it was just like kale and probably some animal protein. It was what I was eating. So I made a plate for Jesus because he was my husband during that time. So yeah.
Jokes aside, I do think that is a really good way, because before we got married, I'm so used to always having a man in my life. That's kind of where I came from. Like I always had a boyfriend. I always had a man. And I don't know if you ever watched The Runaway Bride, but I had a moment where I felt like Holy Spirit was like, you don't know what kind of eggs you like, because you've been with so many people and you're adjusting to everybody you date, right? Like who are you and what's your identity and who are you? Right. So like spend some time with me and let's get to know each other a little bit deeper. And I felt like that was a huge part of getting me ready to be somebody's spouse. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't make a plate, but I did go to dinner. I went to the movies, and I kind of cut out all I had a lot of guy friends because I thought women was like high maintenance. So I was that chick with like a whole bunch of dudes. So for me, it was like I cut everybody off, and I just was like, you know what? Let me just get to know God as my boyfriend, my friend, my focus. And so you might have made a plate and we might have joked on you on your bread, but it was to me a very good process.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt like it was for sure.
Yeah. So I want to go back to what you said about needing to soften
Mhm.
how you show up or
Yeah, so that was interesting.
yeah.
Because
What you
were
wanna say
you
about it?
were you mean? I mean,
Just-
would you say you were mean if you put that in simple terms?
Don't look at your husband. No.
Probably.
What would you say, Amanda?
Yeah, I probably was a little
Amanda, what you mean? The man asked you a question.
Yeah, I was probably mean.
Yeah. I'm not gonna look at
But
it.
I didn't know I was mean. That's why I just let the Holy Spirit kind of like reveal that to me, and I obeyed, to make some changes. And my sister at that time, my oldest sister Angela, gave me some resources and other things to kind of just help me learn some different ways and mannerisms, and it was really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, but because body language, it really does matter. And I wanted to ask you, so it just makes me think about one of the questions that we have for both of you is, so knowing when you got married, like what were some of the expectations or standards that you had, that the ones that were helpful for building unity, and which ones also created tension? Like, is there anything that comes to mind? Like, what are some of the things that created the unity, and what are some things that created tension that you brought into the marriage?
Some things for me. I'll talk a little bit about some of the. For me, I had a trauma past, a trauma childhood. My father was abusive, um, physically abusive to the kids, to us, to my mom. So I witnessed that. I witnessed my father throw my mom through. We had this glass table in the living room. It was kind of like a coffee table, and he put her through that coffee table, and she had to get all kinds of stitches. She had to get her mouth done. It was a big old thing, right? So I grew up with that type of an environment. So there was, you push stuff down. You push stuff down. On the other side, my father was a beautiful man. He had a great heart, but he had an addictive behavior. He was addicted to substance, so he was addicted to drugs. And that when he was not on drugs, he was Bill Cosby. He was the Huxtable. When he was on drugs, he was something different. And so I got a chance to know those two dynamics. But the aggressive father that I knew was, I carried those trauma experiences with me. Even, like I said, shoved them down. And, you don't know what it is that comes up in certain situations. The streets teach you to push your emotions down. So I came in with that, pushed down emotions, and closed off heart. And, there's just a whole lot of things that the community would teach you about relationships that just aren't healthy. When you grow up listening to Luther Campbell and Trick Daddy and all those people who tell you certain things about women, and those are your ideologies and your mindset, and you grow up looking at women respectfully like a tool, right? So, or something to be accomplished. And so that's how you interact with those relationships. Even in my first marriage, I was married to a woman at that time that I loved, but I still had that developed mindset, you know what I'm saying, in that first marriage. And so coming to a space where I had Holy Spirit centered in my relationship, and knowing who I was with Christ, doing that work in advance, helping me to be ready, be the kind of godly man that I am today. I think God didn't remove the trauma. He didn't remove the pain that the trauma gave me. He didn't do that. What he gave me was the ability to see through the trauma. He gave me the ability to still see who I am today and to accept that this is a past, right? That this is a past. And also, this is my past, but it's something that I could use to help other people who have been in a situation like this. So he said, this can be a testimony for somebody who's gone through something that you're going through or that you've gone through. So I just feel like he developed me whole and completely. And those are kind of like that, the things that I came into this marriage with. It's just the relationship with God. It's just the humility. And, you know, my friends back home where I'm from, they call me Love. So I probably should have never said that. I really don't put that out in public, but I grew up being called Love.
Public now.
It's public now. But I grew up being called Love. And so that was a nickname that was given to me because I used to walk around trying to be like LL Cool J. I just want to be like Lady Love. But I wear that name differently now, and I can say, yeah, I am love, written confidently in a different way, because I am God's love. I am God's light. So when I come into the room, I'm hopeful that people see God's light on me. I'm hopeful that people see God's love on me. And when I can bring that into a relationship, oh my gosh, it's fruitful. It's fruitful.
I really honor and appreciate and thank you for being so honest about, you know, what your experience was like coming into your relationship. What would you say in terms of like how you responded to her? How does that look different, you know, 9 years into marriage, you know, when you guys have grown together, you've learned from each other, you've matured. How does it look different now? Like specifically, like from year 1 to year 9, like what in year 1, what might be something in year 1, and now in year 9, it's like, that's not even who I am anymore.
Year 1, Amanda, if she was angry.
No, try.
Here's the thing. When that happened, I would, because of my trauma experience, because of my trauma past, I would draw up and I would withdraw.
That part.
Right? Mm-hmm. So that's the part that I'm getting to. So I would withdraw into myself. I would shut down. This dude, I go for a week. I can go for a couple of days up to a week and just not say nothing. And, you know, and if we're going to address it, come to me, you know, and we'll address it. But I don't, you know, I would just shut down, right? Because I didn't want to do something explosive, right? I didn't want to be tricked, you know. I was trying to be in control of my feelings, or, you know, I didn't want to feel my feelings and all of that stuff. And I'm a psychologist too. So this is funny because I'm supposed to know how to do this, right? So I tell people how to do this all the time, but I ain't finna express my feelings, you know, that kind of thing, right? So I would shut down today. And then, to be honest, we've been consistently for about 3 or 4 years in therapy. We've been in therapy for some years now. So we've been in therapy, not just because things are bad, but things stay good when you're able to communicate and talk through things that you wouldn't think about talking through, you know, just side by side. So it's just really helpful. I encourage all of our community to seek therapy, to talk to somebody about stuff that's going on, and then just to be open and transparent, be vulnerable, so you can grow. You know?
Yeah, I think that's
stuff to build up.
I think that's awesome. I can say that's similar to my testimony with Angela when we first got married. For me, growing up, conflict was always violent, and so for me, shutting down was the appropriate back then manner for me, because I thought that I'm going to mess something up, because if I say something, it's going to turn crazy, you know. And I always thought an argument was bad, you know. I just like to argue is bad. Whether we just exchange words, you know, sometimes we're not even yelling. It's just the tension, you know. all this type of stuff. And so I took it bad. So like you, I would just shut off. And that was a pattern that I had even when I was single. You know, when fellas on the basketball court, you get mad, shut down. You know, you had female friends, get upset with them, shut down. So I saw this pattern, but then she forced me to deal with that moment that we had, and I'll never forget it. She said, "When you do that, you hurt me." And I had to really go back and say, why am I even doing this? You know, and then I realized it was because of my I'm identifying my past, that how much it was affecting me, and so I can identify with that like 1000% in what you're talking about. I used to shut down also.
Yeah.
Amanda, for you, how's the year 1 to year 9 for you, or what's the difference?
So like Latron was trying to do earlier by not so subtly throwing me under the bus.
I just
you should have seen our faces when you was talking. It was hilarious.
Yeah. So we have.
I guess I'm sleeping in the other room.
No,
tonight.
you're not. So we have this running joke because it was really bad. Like so I think some of it has to do with birth order because I'm the baby in my family. Because I got married a little bit later, I had a lot of like selfish tendencies, and I just really did not know how to be married. And how would I have known how to be married, not having ever been married, not having had any children, not having had to sacrifice for anybody, like being the youngest? Like I just didn't have that mindset or skill set. So for our first year of marriage, there was a lot of me just being selfish and those things kind of playing out in different ways. And I believe somewhere in the second year, Holy Spirit just had an intensive with me and helped me see that I was the problem. I was a huge part of the problem. So I think I was able to just make peace with the fact that I needed to grow in the relationship in order for the relationship to last and for us to stay married so that he wouldn't feel like he needed to shut down. One of the things that I learned was part of me like understanding why he was shutting down was what I was doing that made him kind of feel that way. So one of the most important things I think couples can do, especially when they're newly married, is to figure out how you might trigger each other and then understand like how that response to the trigger, like where it came from, what was your part in it, and just like own it. And then make adjustments so that you don't keep re-hurting each other, because we all have like things from our past that make us who we are, and it's not bad. It's just when you're in a covenant marriage and you're supposed to be working with somebody and, you know, going through tough situations and lifing together, like stuff is going to come up, but you have to, it's in your vows. You have to remember, you know, I committed to stay with this person. I committed to, like, I made this vow to stay with this person through thick and thin. So when things get hard, when things get challenging, a lot of times it's taking responsibility and ownership for what your part is in the issue, and then taking that to God, not throwing it in the other person's face, but just saying, hey, let me take this to God and let him change my heart so that I can be the wife or the spouse or partner who my husband needs, or who that person needs in this season. And then also recognizing that you're going to change, because like you all are asking, like who I was that first year is definitely, praise Jesus, who I'm not this year. When you say that, because I don't even know we'd still be together. So yeah, it's good. I feel like even though I still have moments and spats and I still have, you know, a lot of growing to do, I feel like there's been a significant change in the way that I approach him when I have, you know, things that I want to talk about. Working with our counselor has helped us be able to turn to each other and tell the person how you feel and look them in the eye and have that conversation, because I know a lot of times, like in in communities, like, I don't know, sometimes it's just not something that you do or are required to do. And it's not easy to have those difficult conversations, but you have to identify what your emotion is, what you're feeling. You have to think about what it is that you want to say or relay while you're in that space, having or experiencing that emotion or feeling. And then you have to say whatever it is that you need to relay to that person in a way that they'll be able to receive it and actually hear what it is that you're trying to relate to them, so it's not offensive. Because if they get offended, then it's going to be like, oh, well, here we go. Then the shutdown comes, and the devil just uses that to kind of like make the argument last, like however long it lasts. Thank God he did not ignore me a whole week. I think the most we've gone is probably like two, 3 days, something like that. But I like, it hurts me when that's where we are. So we've had conversations about that, and he knows that's something that will probably be traumatizing for me. So we kind of worked through how we can better support each other now and not have those re-traumatizing, re-wounding moments that last really long periods of time, where the enemy can just come in and just cause lots of problems.
Yeah,
so
that's fabulous.
Wow, that is perfect.
That's great.
So I got one more question real quick, because as I listen to you guys, when I see you guys in person or when we're just talking now, I hear a lot of intentionality. You guys are very, very intentional in what you're doing. My question is, 9 years in, 9.5 years, going on 10 years being married, as you look around at other people and their relationships, what are you seeing? Because you see the work that you guys are putting in. It's work. But what as you're making observations, seeing how intentional you guys are, what are you seeing in relationships, whether people are younger or just, around our age? What are you seeing?
I think it's important to be intentional about your relationships, because the enemy is just as intentional, right? The enemy is deceptive. He's conniving. He's tricky. He's got a toolbox of things that he'll use to divide your relationship. So when you're in those states of divisiveness, when you're not speaking to your spouse, when you're yelling at your spouse, when you're avoiding and you're doing all those are all tricks of the enemy. So what I think I'm seeing is people not understanding the value in their relationship, and that God put you together for a purpose, right? And so anytime I dishonor my spouse, I dishonor God's purpose. That's bigger than anything that I can possibly imagine, right? Anytime that I dishonor, disrespect, anytime that I hurt, abuse, anytime that I come against my spouse, I've come against God's will for our marriage. And that's sin.
That's good.
Wow.
And so I have to do the best that I can to try not to be that person to my spouse, right? So that's kind of like where I'm at right now. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Mom?
I think what I would say is what's standing out right now is the deception part. So because that's kind of where the enemy kind of like has his, his craftsmanship or whatever for a lot of relationships. I just want to call out the fact that sometimes what we think we're seeing isn't what's really going on at home. So I think it's really important to like develop the authentic relationships. That's why I really enjoy being in small groups, because I think that gives us more space to just kind of be in this realm where it's kind of more like family. So it's not like we don't have to put these facades on when we like go to church, like, oh, everything's great. And he hadn't talked to me in 8 days, So I think that's part of the advantage of being in the small groups, because it kind of creates this little nucleus of where you have more safety amongst other people who are probably going through similar situations and just like life. And I think that's where we kind of sharpen and empower each other, because we know that maybe we don't have counselors, or maybe we don't have somebody else that we could kind of like trust with this information, but in a very loving way, have a conversation about, what it is that's going on, and still respecting your spouse in that conversation, in order to ensure that once, you all get past that situation or issue, that the other person doesn't have, them get in the side eye because they've heard some of these things that you said about them when things weren't going as well. Yeah. So I think that's important as well, just kind of calling out that maybe it looks good from the surface, but deep down it really isn't. So I feel like that's really important to help people understand they don't have to put on a facade. Like it's really important to address, like in naturopathic medicine, address the root cause. Like don't let those things like fester, and don't let them, linger, because that's where bitterness and all those other things can implant seeds and be really problematic.
Excellent. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff.
All right, so we want to get to these last two questions here with you guys. So was there a specific mindset that you had to let go or reframe that made the biggest difference in helping you guys truly become one?
I mentioned earlier about how society, or how I thought women, what I thought women were, right? Like when I was growing up, community would tell you that that use women as it was kind of like trophy type thing, right? So obviously I can't go into my marriage thinking that, and I think that for me, being able to switch that mindset and trying to be a player, which was foolish, and made several mistakes in that regard, but just learning how to play the marriage game, right? Just play and have fun with my wife, and just enjoy every moment, and see her as a valuable asset, and who she is to me. I think just having that reflection and that awareness cognitively, that mindset for me was one of the biggest things.
Yeah. And I would say for me, it was, and still is, just kind of like working through a lot of those emotions and being able to let Holy Spirit soften, like buffer, teach me how to use other ways to express what needs to be expressed in ways that are loving, that could be receptive by him. And just like anchoring myself like in the word, I'm finding that like more and more helpful. So one of the scriptures that kind of came to mind this morning was from Colossians 3. And it says, but now is the time to get rid of, I'm starting in verse 8, but now is the time to get rid of anger, rage, malicious behavior, slander, and dirty language. Don't lie to each other, for you have stripped off your old sinful nature and all its wicked deeds. Put on your new nature and be renewed as you learn to know your Creator and become like him.
Amen. And
then down in verse 12, it says, since God chose you to be the holy people he loves, you must clothe yourselves with tender-hearted mercy, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Make allowance for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Above all, clothe yourselves with love, which binds us all together in perfect harmony. So in notes for like how to stay together and make it work, you have to forgive, apologize, and then repeat. Just keep doing things and like meditate on the word, and that helps a lot. Yeah.
What were those verses again? We've been having technical difficulties.
So it was Colossians 3, 8 through 10. And then I picked up at 12.
I want to post that. I'm gonna have to do it a different way, but I'm gonna post that in the chat.
Okay, and then I went from 12 to 14 for the second part.
Really good. Really, really, really good. Really good. Like
Those are
that.
some good nuggets. And is that what? Because our last question was going to be, if you were to give couples who are newlyweds or just getting married advice, what would that one piece of advice be?
Have patience. Communicate well. Be intentional about your communication and about your marriage. Be very intentional, because just as hard as you work with it, the enemy will work against it. Um, it's a everyday effort to value your relationship. It's an everyday effort to value your spouse. And I think the older you get, if you're doing it the right way, the more in love you'll be with your spouse. And so I love her more today than day one, and I can't wait to year 21. So we'll see what happens.
Sounds
All right.
not love.
Daddy.
I know, it's like L Dr. Love.
Dr. Love in the house.
Hey, baby.
Oh my gosh. So my advice would be to perfect communication, like learn how to exchange with each other in easy times and in difficult times, and to always do it with love. We also have this little thing, it's called the marriage meter, and we probably need to do a better job of just checking in on it. But that might be a good tool that people who are newlyweds, or even people who've been married for a long time, might be able to benefit from. But basically what it is it's like a little scale that you create, and you can put like however many things you feel like you all need to work on as individuals within your relationship to help the other person feel more loved, on a scale. And if the person, like if you feel like your spouse is doing a good job, like I think one of mine was like physical touch or something like that, because it's like one of my love languages. And if I feel like he's not giving me enough physical touch, then I'll drop it low on the meter. But if I feel like he's like doing the most, then I'll put it at like 10. So it's like at the top. So that way it's kind of like it almost helps you not to have to say things that maybe it's hard for you to say, like, hey, you haven't touched me in like 4 weeks or something like that. But it gives them a visual to say, hey, my bucket is empty in this particular area. So it would be good if you could kind of just like, give me some more rubs or something, So you could just decide like what your specific categories are. And then like with each other, you all can kind of like set it up, because we did some stuff on Canva. So it worked out well.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really
I hope
cool.
y'all are taking notes out there. They are dropping some PhD level nuggets.
They really are. PhD, MD, all of it. Yes, love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what would you say to a couple that's watching right now, and they are trying to decide whether or not they should join a marriage small group?
I'll decide for you. Join. If you're trying to decide, that means you need guidance, you need a push. So there's the push. So get into a group.
Just do it.
There's nothing better than for a relationship than relationship.
Right.
You gotta have a community. You gotta have a community. I'm gonna say it one more time because it's important. You have to have a community. So, and you have to have a healthy community. Don't just get out there and get into something that's crazy. So a community like Living Well it's a healthy community. There's healthy stuff going on in this program, and you need to access it. You need to put yourself in the best position so you can have the best relationship that you can have. All right. So do the work, and this is the work.
I have one last question from you guys. For a couple that might be watching, or maybe one spouse or the other, and they're struggling to do the work, or maybe they're struggling to be intentional. Can you just talk a little bit about, as you guys made up your mind, or how did you even make up your mind to be intentional, and what was the value that you guys got out of it?
So the value with intentionality is that by putting mind and thought effort into it and then executing those steps and following through, you ultimately see the fruit. So it's almost like when you can systemize whatever it is that you kind of like see being necessary within your relationship, then it's not as hard to do. So it's kind of like we said, and life will happen. We're supposed to on the 7th, we're supposed to slow dance, and we're supposed to do the little sandwich notes on
That was yesterday.
So
missed. We'll do it tonight because we just talked about it.
We should do it tonight. So so it's life, you just pick up where you are and then do a better job. So we need to come up with a system to help our system work better. I think in the past when we weren't as busy and doing like the most, it was a lot easier, but right now it's a really busy season. So we just have to pivot and make it work. But I think that's a good strategy. Just kind of like figure out how you can weave it into the things that you have going on. And if maybe kids are involved, little ones, like get a babysitter, like try to figure it out, trade babysitting with somebody else who has
Set
kids.
an alarm.
Like
Put
and
alarms
keep
in
each
your
other's
phone.
kids. So that way, I don't know, but just maybe ask around within the community for other ideas about how you can, carve out some time and just make it happen. Because if you're not intentional, like LaTron said earlier, the devil's intentional about figuring out ways, like just like he's seeking whom he may devour, he's seeking relationships, especially the kingdom ones that he can devour.
Yeah. Very good.
I like the fact that you guys give yourselves grace as well. I mean, you can have your systems, you can have your intentionality, but sometimes you might miss it. And instead of beating yourself up, you're like, we missed yesterday, we're going to pick it up and do it today.
Right.
Just having that kind of grace, I think is very healthy for a relationship. And I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, we really appreciate everything that y'all have shared and also how practical it is. I want you to repeat the name of the activity again, because when I posted this, that's a great idea from Brittany. That's what she was talking about. She was talking about the idea that you had, because I feel like you gave us 3 things to do. So what was that one about?
You're talking about the marriage needs meter?
Yes. So there's the marriage needs meter. Is that something people can Google to find that?
We just created that. So that's how intentional we've been, though. Like we've been talking through different stuff. Things come up in therapy. We don't just hear it and let it drop. You got to practice it. You got to put it to work. So we just started problem solving. What are some areas? Because sometimes I can say stuff in a way that triggers her. So how do I communicate my needs in a way that she can receive it and not be triggered? Maybe when I say it verbally, it's a trigger. But if it's a visual, it's not as much of a trigger, right? So we just kind of put it together as we talked about it and said, maybe it should have this, maybe it should have that. And then we said, one motivation was that, well, if it works for us and we do really well at it, maybe we can redesign it and sell it.
Yeah. We're going to make an app, but it hasn't come to fruition yet. We don't know how, because it's going to be unique for each individual couple. So it's kind of like, if we could turn it into an app, we will. Yeah.
So put it in the chat if you guys think we should make a.
That's right. Y'all going to tell yes. So that's one tool you gave us. So you gave us the needs meter. So that was one tool. The other tool that you gave was when you read, Dr. Amanda, when you read Colossians 3, verse 8 through 15. I really feel like that's a masterclass for relationships.
Yeah.
So Colossians, you could just meditate on that.
Yes.
Read that and just meditate on it. It's got so much value in it.
Amen.
And then when you talked about, of course, we brought y'all on here. You are small group leaders. And you believe in the power of small group community. That's what it's all about. Honestly, to us, of course, we want you to join one of our marriage small groups. And you can go to fccphoenix.com under Get Connected, and you will find a list of groups. But even if you don't sign up for a formal small group through our church, if you just get together with 2 or 3 couples that love the Lord, that are trying to love their spouses better, that's a small group.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And y'all can use Colossians 3, verse 8 through 15 as your foundational scripture to get and I want to just share a couple of the comments. CJ said, I enjoyed this so much. This is a great forum. I love the targeted questions and responses to heal and grow marriages as they grow in God. Priceless. Amen. Share it out, CJ. Share it out. Like, share it on your timeline so other people that need it can see it. And then Audra said, thanks for sharing and for the invite. I love the marriage need meter idea. All right, Dr. Amanda, y'all heard it here first. So if y'all see somebody else online, we know where it came from. Yes. Cynthia said, so Linda said, yes, make an app. So see, app it. Somebody said app it. CJ said app it.
There we go, right? Next project.
All right. There it is.
And if you are, not in a small group, I think the Alexanders got a little bit of room in theirs.
Do y'all?
So,
yeah, we do have space.
So they're over here in the East Valley. So if you're in the East Valley looking for some community, there you go. Reach out.
Yep, I'm sharing it again. So fccphoenix.com / and then get connected, or if you just choose get connected under the tab get connected on the website, you go to small groups, and then from small groups, if you go to join a small group, you will find under marriage groups, you will find the Alexander's group or any other marriage small group that's in your area. And your group is which one? Slay. The Slay marriage group. That's the group that the Alexanders lead. So that's right here. So all right.
So thank you guys for joining us and dropping all the nuggets tonight and being vulnerable, sharing your experience. I think in the community, as we share what we've gone through and how we've overcome, and how you're thriving today, it is gonna help so many people. Those who are watching tonight, as well as those who are gonna watch it on replay. We just believe God is going to transform marriages just from what you shared tonight.
Wow, 52 years.
Wow. Is this your older sister talking? Is this your older sister?
That's my mother-in-law.
Oh,
okay. Wow.
Awesome.
My daughter was on earlier too. She had to jump out. So.
That's awesome. And 52 years. That's awesome.
So who do you, Demetrius says, who do you recommend attending? Oh, do you recommend attending solo? That's an interesting question.
Demetrius, yes. I know Demetrius. I know what he's at. Yes. Mm-hmm. Join the group. Mm-hmm. Please just join the group. You and I can talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Man. Love it. We community. We doing community right here, right now.
That's right.
Right. Come on now. Loved it. Y'all were awesome. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we hope to have you guys back on. So you guys, I know we're over time, but I know you've written a book, Amanda, and you guys are writing books right now. I don't know if you want to share any information, for the audience, so people know what you got going on.
Yeah. So right now I'm writing a book called here's the markup. You can't even see that. The markup for it. I might not can read, but I can fight. Essentially, it's just it's for educators, people working in the education system. Just talking about the value of relationship and empowering kids through relationship help learning. And we learned that through the eyes of this little kid who's got a speech impediment. And we just learned some lessons through the life of this kid. So that's the first book that I'm writing, and there'll be more stuff to come.
All right. You got a timeline on it yet, or just?
I'm about to do my final personal edits over the next month, and I'll be sending it out to an editor probably around December, and I'm hopeful to release it before my birthday month in March.
Okay. All right. Thanks for
sharing.
Yeah.
All right. So my second one is coming out Black Friday. Everybody pray. The first book behind me is the one about food. So it's Dear God Bless This Mess, What Christians Should Know About Food, Health, and Healing. The second one is about environmental toxins and how those things impact our health. So it's
Dear God Bless This Mess
2, not the number TOO. He helped me. Now he's saying 2. So a Christian's Guide to Navigate Our Toxic Environment. So that should be out soon, and I'll keep you all posted. I'm really excited about it because it's unfortunate that so many things in our environment can like negatively impact our health, and a lot of people just don't know where to start. So this book will give you like a toolkit as to where to start, what's probably causing problems in your home, and what to do about those things. So really excited.
You should be excited. I'm glad you guys are putting that out there.
Just one more thing. Over the next month, I will be launching a virtual platform where I'm talking about special education, just specific topics about special education, just kind of bridging the gap between like mental health and education, and empowering parents about the world of special education. So if you're a parent who has a kid in special education, what resources you need to be aware of, what do you need to know about the special education process, and teachers and educators, again, about empowering our community to serve our kids. So it's really trying to bridge the gap and put out information that's significant to the learning development of our youth. It's not something that's only significant in Arizona. This is a thing that we need to be aware of across the United States. So there are laws and policies that's being pushed to reduce funding. And so things we need to be aware of as things change when we're talking about how education is funded. So I'm a psychologist, but I'm also director of special education. So that's just, I come from that lens and those practices. So.
Amen. Thank you for that, because it's needed, very, very much needed.
Yes.
Using your gifts and talents, we need it all, from both of you, all of it, all the different ways that you are using your gifts.
Yes, doctors. Out. Really appreciate you guys so much. We love you. You are a valuable part of the community.
Yes.
And thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you
for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank everybody for hanging in there with us tonight.
Yes.
I know we went over time, but y'all hung
But
in
it was good. It was worth
Yeah.
every second. It was worth every
Very
second.
good.
All right. So until next time, we love you guys. Peace and
Bye, everybody.
Good night.